Hello my dear students, here we will discuss about the variable winds. So in the variable wind we briefly discuss about the types of variable wind, that are cyclone and anticyclone. Here we will know about the different types of cyclones and how they are formed with its weather condition. We will also discuss here about the anticyclone and how it is formed. So, now students, let's begin. This wind, so firstly we have to know about what do you mean by variable wind. These winds are related to the pressure system and blow in a small area. So, variable wind are blown in small area and related to the pressure system, which means the pressure belt. They are called as variable because they do not blow in any definite direction and their direction varies with the movement of the pressure belt, which means with the movement of the pressure belt, the direction of the variable wind also changes. Their speed also depends on the intensity of the depression. So here with the speed or the velocity of this wind are depending on the factor of intensity of the depression. They last only for few days. The two chief type of variable winds are the cyclone and the anticyclone. Now we are discussing about the cyclone. It is a type of wind that blows in the lower latitudes. An intense depression with the low pressure center is known as tropical cyclone. So here the cyclone is formed with the low pressure center and it is known as tropical cyclone in the Indian Ocean area, as the hurricane in the Caribbean and the typhoon in China, and also Willy Willy in the Australia. Now let's discuss about how these cyclones forms. A cyclone is a portion of the atmosphere in which the pressure is lowest in the center. So in the center, here it is low pressure. So the cyclone have low pressure in the center and the wind blows inward in the opposite direction. The wind blows inward in the opposite direction, that is from south or southwest in the fronts and of the cyclone and north or northwest in the rears. So when a cyclone approaches, the reading of the barometer falls. So why the reading of the barometer falls? Because of low pressure. Because the low pressure, as we know that barometer is the instrument to measure the pressure. So if a cyclone approaches to any places, the reading on the barometer falls on that region. But the thermometer rises. So with the help of the thermometer we measured the temperature. So here it is said that the thermometer rises due to the warm south or southwest wind. That means the temperature increases due to the south or southwest wind. The rising moisture laden air of such a cyclone result in heavy rain. So this moisture laden air causes heavy rainfall in the center of the depression, which is the low pressure area. The cyclone, on the account of the Coriolis force, blow in an anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere and clockwise direction in the southern hemisphere. That means anti-clockwise direction, which is in this way it blows in the northern hemisphere and in the clockwise direction in the southern hemisphere. So now we going to the next page. From this picture we we know that this is the center of the cyclone. Here is the air is ascending from the outer zone to inner zone, and this is the vortex area that is surrounded the eye. From this region, the air is rising upward and descending in the low pressure area, that is the eye. So, now we will discuss about the type of cyclone, that is tropical and temperate cyclone. The cyclone are associated with turbulent weather condition, thick cloud cover, strong wind and rainfall. So, in the tropical cyclone, the weather condition is very turbulent and they have the thick cloud covers with the strong wind and rainfall. The tropical cyclone thus causes heavy damages to the property and loss of human lives. This cyclone is mainly originated in between 8 degree and 20 degree north and south. They are more frequent in summer. That means that tropical cyclone is mostly happen in the summer season. Why? Because of the movement of the doldrum belts, that is the equatorial brain away from the equator. Is the equatorial low pressure belt away from the equator causes the tropical cyclone frequently in the summer season. Most often they originate in the South China Sea and causes a lot of damage in the life and property and the countries that bordering that region. In the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea, they causes also a great damage with the strong winds, even though their ranges in small. Though the range in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea is less, but it causes a heavy damage due to its strong wind velocity. Next, the central part of the cyclone is a calm region and is known as eye. So, from this picture we see that the central part is called the eye, and here prevails the low pressure, and that this region is also a calm region. As there prevails a low pressure, it is a calm region which known as eye of the cyclone. Is surrounded by the turbulent vortex. So vortex means the area around the eye. The force of the wind depend on the intensity of the low pressure center and the surrounding the high pressure, which means the force of the wind depend on the intensity of low pressure center. The greater the difference between the low pressure center and the high pressure center, the stronger is the wind. Now we are going to discuss about the weather condition associated with the tropical cyclone. So, the first weather condition is when there is a tropical cyclone, the air is still, but the temperature and the humidity are high. Here the air is still, but the temperature and the humidity are high. There is sudden drop in the air pressure. As the temperature is high, there is a sudden drop in pressure which causes the low air pressure region. The next one is when the front of the vortex arrives, the strong wind and the thick cloud occur in that region become violent with a great speed. Dense cloud and heavy rain reduce the visibility. As we see that the dense cloud, if we have a dense cloud in any region, that reduce the visibility in that region. The eye of the cyclone is have in the calm condition. Here we know that the tropical cyclone eye is in the calm condition because there prevails the low pressure. After this, the next weather condition is when the rear of the vortex arrives, there are violent winds. Thick clouds and heavy rainfall occur in that region, and the wind blows in the opposite direction. The next comes the tornado. So, tornado is a type of tropical cyclone and it has the diameter of 300 to 400 meters. So, it looks like, how it looks like? It looks like dark funnel shaped cloud extending towards the downward from the base of the thunderstorm. As we know that it is a tropical cyclone, it has the low pressure center with the strong wind blowing inward. So, here the speed of the wind may vary from 500 to 800 km per hour. The tornadoes are generally experienced over the tropical water in the North America. Now, we are going to discuss about the other forms of the tropical cyclone, that are hurricane in the Southeast Caribbean region, typhoon in the eastern China, Japan and Philippine Island, and cyclone in the Bay of Bengal and the Arabian Sea. Now we are going to discuss another type of cyclone, that is temperate cyclone. As the temperate cyclone prevails over the region of 35 degree to 65 degree latitude in both the hemisphere, that is north and south. They are known as extratropical or wave cyclone. Why? Because unlike the tropical cyclone, which are produced and developed mainly over the seas, the temperate cyclone are produced both on land and seas. Whereas the tropical cyclone are limited to the small area but and usually travel to the east to west. But the temperate cyclone are measuring a couple of thousand kilometers. It is much larger than the tropical cyclone and moves from west to east. In the temperate cyclone, the wind speed is low and the sector of the cyclone have different temperatures. So, various sector of the cyclone have experienced the different temperature, which causes the rainfall is light and continues for many days in the prevailing region. So, the center of the tropical cyclone is known as eye, and the wind is calm at the center with no rainfall, whereas in the temperate cyclone there are not a single place where wind and rain are inactive. So, in the temperate cyclone, in all the regions there are wind and rain occurring all the time. During the direction of the wind rapidly changes at the front. So, at the front region, the direction of wind rapidly changes to any direction. And the temperate cyclone are associated with anticyclone which precedes and succeeds a cyclone. The approach of a temperature cyclone is marked by fall in temperature and also the fall in mercury level. The wind shifts and a halo around the sun and the moon is happened. So, what do you mean by halo? So, as we see in the days of the low pressure region, there forms a circle type of rainbow around the sun and the moon. So, for this region, this halo is formed in around the sun and the moon. A light drizzle follows which turns into a heavy downpour. So, here we can see that the temperate cyclone gives a heavy downpour. Now, we are going to discuss another type of variable wind, that is anticyclone. So, anticyclone is a fine atmospheric condition. There is high pressure in the core or center and low pressure around it. The wind blows gently outward, which means that always the wind flows from high pressure to low pressure region. So, in this anticyclone, the here prevails the high pressure, and from where the wind flows to the low pressure region, or the wind flows outward. These winds are clockwise in the northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in the southern hemisphere, which means in the anticyclone, so in the anticyclone, clockwise direction prevails in the northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise direction prevails in the southern hemisphere. Since they are centers of high pressure, they found in the region of descending air current, as shows the wind circulation in an anticyclone. So, what do you mean by descending air current? Means the region of high pressure belts. So, here we covered the chapter 14, which is atmospheric pressure and wind. So, that's all for today. Thank you.